All right, good morning. So it is Thursday morning, February 13th, 2020, the year of perfect vision and clarity, allegedly. Like I told you, I wasn't feeling too well yesterday in the afternoon and evening, so I actually skipped the coffee and contacts that I had on my calendar for this morning. The coffee and contacts was a little out west, not too bad. But it's also brutally cold. But regardless, anytime I feel like I might be getting something or getting sick a little bit, I always make note and I try really hard to get a lot of sleep. I think that's more important. I used to not care about my sleep, and then I was always getting sick and I couldn't really figure out why. So I tried to just start getting more sleep, and I don't really get sick as much. I don't know. Maybe it's all in my head, maybe it's a placebo, but I think that works, and I'm gonna keep doing that. Whenever I start feeling down, I try to clear my schedule-ish if I can. If not, then I definitely just make note to get more rest or go to sleep sooner, maybe drink some orange juice and some tea, chamomile tea. I heard at one time is best if you're starting to get a cold or get the flu. Again, probably a placebo. I don't know anything, but yeah. I used to get sick all the time, and now I try to tackle the sickness head on. So I skipped the morning coffee, the coffee and contacts to sleep in a little bit, and now I'm actually going to start my day by going to therapy for my elbow. I had a benign tumor way back the week of Thanksgiving last year, so about 4 months ago now. But I still have to go to OT, occupational therapy, twice a week for it, so that's always a little inconvenient. But it's fun. My therapist is a good guy, and we always just kind of talk and shoot the breeze about anything. So I'm off to that here in a little bit. I'm always trying to be as efficient as I can with my time, trying to use every second as possible. Oftentimes I fail at that. Sorry, I feel like I have to sneeze. I knew it was going to happen. But one key trick that I do is when I'm getting ready in the morning or when I'm getting ready at night or when I shower, instead of throwing on music or, I don't know, I guess instead of throwing on music or just not listening to anything at all, I'm always listening to YouTube videos, watching YouTube videos on all things, investing, insurance, self-help, ways to tips and advice on how to talk to people, and I guess just be better with your personal skills. And so that's another little tidbit of advice I'd like to pass on to everyone is use your time. When you got downtime, when you are driving, instead of throwing on music, throw on a podcast, do an audiobook, or throw on a YouTube playlist. I'm a big proponent of Gary Vaynerchuk. Just always be trying to learn, expand your mind, and increase your life skills. All right, so I had therapy for my elbow, and then I had a networking group that actually just changed its name. It was called Stand, which was a gentle reminder as to when they met. And Stand stood for Second Thursday at Noon, which I thought was kind of funny. But they just changed their name to CORE, Coalition of Resources for the Elderly. I believe that's what CORE stands for. Still meet at the same time, so you can't ever forget it. But it was really interesting. It was a presentation on doulas, specifically end-of-life doulas, which are apparently becoming more and more popular in this day and age. An end-of-life doula is someone who helps people in their final stages, helps them, plan out their vigil, plan out what types of music and smells and sounds they want to be around in their final times. It's pretty morbid stuff, I guess, but I like the idea. We spend a lot of time helping mothers and helping, spend a lot of resources helping bring new people into the world, but not too much is focused on someone's death and them leaving the world. It's just kind of focused on, funeral planning, and that's it. But, talking about a lot of people go on hospice and, have slow declines from different diseases. So I thought the end of life doula was a pretty interesting idea and definitely neat to hear about. Also, with the end of life doulas, there's talks that potentially in the future, CMS, so the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, might be able to help reimburse people for these expenses for doulas, whether that's through Medicare exactly, or whether it's maybe a new mandate that Medicare supplements will have to cover that no one knows. But there's apparently some future talks of insurance one day covering these end-of-life doulas. I think that's pretty interesting. Okay, so I had kind of a weird gap in my schedule after that core networking group. And now I just stopped home real quick to grab a snack. Luckily, that group had free food, which I didn't know. I think that was only the second or third time I had attended, and I hadn't been there in quite some time. But free food, free lunch was always a big benefit of networking. But now I need a little bit more of a snack and a dessert, I guess. So I'm grabbing an apple before I head out to... I don't know where I'm heading out. Let me check and I'll be right back. That's right. I'm heading out to CADA, which is a newer networking group in Omaha. It focuses more on masterminds and kind of brainstorming and leadership skill development, if I understand it correctly. I don't have any intention on joining it. I'm already spread too thin personally with all the networking that I do currently. In addition, I believe the dues are like at least $50 a month, and I definitely don't have the financial capability to commit to a networking group that costs that much money, truthfully. Something that I forgot to mention at the stand at the core networking group that I did just come from. One of my good friends, two of my friends actually now work at, I guess call them in-home healthcare. One of them does non-medical side, so things like medication reminders, cosmetology, bathing, transferring, meal prepping, pet care even. And then the other side does all the medical part to the home healthcare. But one thing that the first friend brought up, and it's kind of $1 million idea, I think it's amazing. She brought up that, and both these companies, mind you, real quick, work with people of all ages, so not just those on Medicare. But so regardless of people's age, if they're in a situation where they need those services, someone, a caregiver, then it's a pretty big deal and kind of a struggle to, get ready, get dressed, and go out of the house, even for a couple hours. And so one of my friends was saying, Colin, you do health insurance. The telemedicine thing is becoming more and more huge. How can we partner up where you can bring telemedicine to some of our clients, or we can at least offer it? And I actually had just got contracted with a company, Carrington, that does telemedicine, and I'm going to be offering that to all the clients of all these caregivers and social workers around town. So that's a new marketing strategy. Of course, those policies are $20 a month starting for an individual, so it's not, I'm not going to be rolling in money from this, but I think it's definitely a big need. It's just going to be a little ancillary profit and revenue stream for myself, but it's a big need. These people, and I dealt with this all the time for Medicare. Someone would say, I'd be trying to schedule a Medicare appointment, and someone would tell me, I have a doctor's appointment this day, or I have my church ladies meeting, my church Bible study that night, so I can't meet you on that day. Just because they had one or two things scheduled for the day, they said they couldn't meet with me, which I always thought was funny, but looking, kind of contemplating and thinking about that more and more, I realized that, it actually is a big deal for older people, or just for people that do need some home services to get dressed and to go out. It's a big deal for them. So bringing telemedicine, the opportunity for them to just pay $20 a month, and then be able to have 24/7 access to a doctor and a nurse's line, call in and say, hey, this is going on. Should I, do I even need to waste a trip to the doctor, or should I just go straight to the specialist? Or if it's super severe, do I need to just head right to the emergency room, in some circumstances? So I think it's definitely going to be a good partnership and a good way to get my name out there. Like I said, the financial benefit from doing this and trying to focus on marketing this is not going to be that substantial, but at the end of the day, it's just getting my name out there. And it's, well, the biggest reason it touches on why I joined and why I stayed in this industry, not why I joined. I kind of fell into it, but why I stayed in this industry is to really help people. This is a service that I think can help a lot of people. So for the next couple weeks or so, I'm going to really be focusing on these elderly networks that have people that are, the managers at assisted living, different assisted living and independent living facilities, and really focus on kind of pushing telemedicine opportunities that they can maybe partner with myself and offer those to their clients. So I think that'll be really beneficial. All right, I just left CADA. That was my first time going. It was a really interesting experience. Everyone takes turns going around and sharing a problem that they're facing. And it could be life, business, whatever. And the problem I shared was I'm obviously just starting out in building my brokerage, and I need to think of, names for the business, looking into P.O. boxes, seeing how I can differentiate myself from other brokers out there in terms of branding, etc. So it was very helpful. Got a lot of good feedback. I feel as though I also gave a lot of feedback, and other people told me that I did. So hopefully they weren't just saying that to boost my ego. I think I was able to help a few people today at that. Shout out to the struggle of wearing glasses and trying to find sunglasses that can fit over them. My red light's over now. Gotta go. It's just about 5 o'clock. I'm heading out I was on my way. I still am on my way to a rosary. My mom gave me some news 2 nights ago that my great aunt's cousin had passed away. I wasn't too terribly close to her, but I wanted to go to the visitation and the rosary, which is tonight. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to the funeral, which is tomorrow morning. But yeah, so it's 5 o'clock, very early day work-wise for me. The rest of the evening is hanging out with family, and then after the visitation, I'll be seeing my girlfriend and just spending some time with her for the night. So this is a wrap. I'll see you guys tomorrow.